We are going live. Hello, Miss Arce. Reef Kareem just joined. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Joining the podcast. Welcome, Reef. We're going to be having a very special guest today. I'm so glad you guys are here joining us. In a few minutes here, I'm going to be bringing on Anthony Lolli, the star. Fat Lolli, the six-pack Lolli, coming at you right now. So welcome. Welcome everybody who's joining in this IG Live podcast. Reef, it's great to see you. How's it going? I want to talk to you about, becoming a new daddy pretty soon because I will be there too. Zoe from Hawaii joining us. Welcome, Zoe. How are you? It's great to see you. In just a few minutes now, Anthony Lolli from the hit documentary joining us very, very soon on this IG Live podcast. I'm super, super excited. Zoe, how are you doing? Leave in the comment down below where from Hawaii you're joining. Tiffany from Los Angeles joining here today. Welcome, Tiffany. Where are you guys coming from? Leave it down in the comments below. All right, Anthony Lolli just came on, so I'm going to request that he join us right now. 1 second. Here we go. I'm going to send him there. Hilo, Big Island. Very nice. Well, welcome to this podcast. People coming from LA. I can see some East Coast people on. And there he is.
How you doing?
He is. Big man.
How's it going?
Pleasure. Welcome. Some people are joining in right now. Louis, Leon, 5 other Debs. Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody here. Oh yeah, how we doing? How are you? Everybody,
amazing.
To find out a little bit more about you. So I haven't really heard of you, but then I've been looking at Amazon Prime this past weekend, and I said, wow, this is a really awesome transformation story. So I watched this documentary, and after the documentary, I was blown away. I reached out to Anthony Lolli, said, great documentary. He reaches out and sends me a text message saying, hey, great to hear from you, Ken, and we connected here, and that's why we're here today. Wow, welcome everybody joining this podcast. So I'm going to introduce Anthony Lolli, everybody. If you guys haven't already seen, it's the #1 fitness documentary that's out right now. It's on Amazon Prime called Fat Lolli to Six-Pack Lolli. And this man sitting in front of you right here, this guy right over here, lost 125 pounds in 9 months. Now, even before all this happened, you were a super successful guy. This guy from the age of 19 became a real estate person, became an investor, a developer, and became a millionaire at the age of 23. So this guy has a lot under his belt. I can't wait to dive in deep right here. I know some people are already sending in questions. If you guys could hit the bottom question mark button there, I can access that a little bit later. So Anthony, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
So I want to dive in a little bit. I know you come from humble beginnings. Let's first talk about your success in real estate. And then I want to get into the psychology of how you made that switch into your physical transformation. How was it coming from humble beginnings that you became so successful in the real estate market and build an empire with Rapid Realty?
Well, what happened was it was an incident because my mom was an immigrant from Ecuador. She, came here, lived in an abandoned building, worked in sweatshops, worked as a beautician, then became a home attendant, taking care of senior citizens. My dad, a World War II veteran, became an insurance broker and then moonlighted teaching kids to play the guitar back when Elvis Presley was out and everybody wanted to learn how to play guitar. Then eventually he put himself through college through the GI Bill, became a public school teacher. So I saw them both really, really working hard, humble beginnings. And then we didn't have a lot of money. I had a lot of love. And I remember there was one incident where my mom would go shopping to Saks Fifth Avenue, but she'd actually not buy anything. She'd try on mink coats and nice dresses and expensive perfumes, put them back on the rack. We'd walk right out. And in one of those times that we went there, I tugged on her skirt and begged her to buy me this waterproof watch that I had saw in a Saturday morning cartoon. And it was only $12. And she cried and said, we can't afford it. And at that point, I promised her, I said, I'm going to be so rich. I'm going to buy you a white limousine with a chauffeur and a white mansion. And you could go shopping and do whatever you want. And obviously, many years later, I did the exact same thing. So that was my drive and determination to kind of change my family's tree and never feel that we don't have the ability to live a healthy, wealthy life.
That's amazing. So let me just ask you, because, I went through my own kind of health transformation a while ago. And I remember I came here as an immigrant with nothing. There was parts of me that just thought I was not enough. And I just chased success. But as I was chasing success, I lost my health. So let me ask you a question. Did you think about your health? Did you think about, tell me how it was growing up as a child that was a little chubby, how it went into obesity. Were you cognizant at all when you were building your other success?
I think part of the reason why I was so successful was maybe to mask the obesity. When you have that chip on your shoulder, I remember being 6, 7 years old, and moms would kneel down to their kids and they'd point their finger at me and they'd say, if you keep eating like that, you're going to look like him. And I heard them. I was 6, 7 years old, and so that kind of stays with you as a child. And then when you grow up to be an adult, you create all sorts of success, what you think is important. But the most important thing is health at the end of the day. And it took me 41 years later to realize that, and luckily I caught it in time. I think what happened for me is I was playing the genetics game, the young game. I would go to the doctor and I would get checkups and they would say I was okay. So I was okay. But a lot of obese people can relate to me because I had a threshold weight. My weight was 300 pounds. Anytime I started touching 300 pounds, I started feeling chest pains, getting sleep apnea, all sorts of weird things. I'm driving and all of a sudden I feel dizzy. So, for me, that was happening until my body started adjusting to that not happening at 300 pounds. And it would only happen at 305 pounds and then 310 pounds and then 315 pounds. So, your body can adjust to anything you put it under. And so it was adjusting to me getting fatter and fatter and fatter.
Wow, amazing. So did you think that, was there a lot of pain being obese? Was there a lot of, feelings of not enough? What do you think? I mean, as you were eating, as you were having those unhealthy lifestyles, were you conscious at the time how unhealthy it was for you?
I really wasn't. I had a lot of confidence. I had a lot of success, back-to-back success. And what success does, it kind of like taints your mind. It tells you you're not wrong about anything, Then I started looking at other successful people that are obese. And I'm saying, well, they're obese, so it's okay. There's a lot of billionaires that are obese. There's a lot of millionaires that are obese and celebrities that are obese. And then you start normalizing it. You're saying, well, they're all right. So I'm going to continue living like this. So, I had all the other factors in my life in check, family, love, friendships, business. So I had all those things in check. So, this one last thing wasn't a real big deal because I still had all those other things in check. So I had no reasons really to actually, in fact, I made a conscious decision to stay fat. I remember my partner and I, after we would get our suits, because he was 295 pounds and we tailored and we wouldn't fit into them because we were more fat. And we just said, I guess we're just going to die fat. You just say, okay, this is how we're going to live. And you just take on that identity.
Mm-hmm. I see. I think that's going to be a very key point I tie back into later is identity, because I'm sure there was going to be some kind of identity shift happening later on. Now, I do want to ask you, during this journey of being obese, you have tried maybe a few times to lose the weight. Tell me about that.
I mean, every fat person has their tricks up their sleeve. I had my tricks to lose 10 to 15 to 30 pounds, crash diets. I've tried every diet under the sun, books and this diet and that diet and Schmido diet and everything you can think of I've tried. And they all work if you really follow it, but they're just not sustainable, but you can always resort back to that. So for me, I had those one-trick ponies up my sleeve. So I knew that if I put my mind to it, I could lose that kind of extra weight so I wouldn't feel those chest pains. I wouldn't, I'd maybe fit into the ward size, because every obese person has 4 or 5 sizes in their closet. So if you go into your closet, it's like, so it's interesting. So for me, I had those tricks up my sleeve, but the 9 times that I tried, I wasn't really trying. I had the ability, I had the resources, I just didn't put my mind to it. And I was lying to myself, because I know I didn't really make a decision. It was just something that I wanted to do. I didn't need to do it. Like
Right.
you don't need to have a Ferrari. You know what I mean? You can want it, you don't need it. So for me, it just wasn't a necessity. I needed to really dig deep and have something happen to me in order for me to want to do it.
I see. Now, we're going to get to that turning point moment right now, but tell me, were there any health scares along the path before you hit that point? Did you enter the hospital, any health problems that you encountered?
Yeah, I had sleep apnea, which caused a whole host of other things. Your blood pressure goes, the things that I remember having to sleep in the hospital to do a sleep apnea test. And that was crazy. I had
Yeah.
tubes in my nose, in my brain, all over the place. And I'm like, how I don't feel comfortable. How are you supposed to measure my sleep? So, and then they were telling me that because of my sleep apnea, it can affect the oxygen to my brain, therefore affect the organs in my body. And then here I am. My biggest asset was my mind, my mindset, my brain, and my eating habits were about to damage the only thing that was helping me control the rest of my life. So it was at that point I said, whoa, we got a problem here.
I see. Now, let's turn to that defining moment, because I was watching that documentary. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that moment right now. That really made you draw the line in the sand and say, no, it's happening this time. So why don't you share with us exactly what that moment was for you?
Well, what happened was I was eating off the kids' menu when my kids were eating, healthy, vegetables and healthy fruits, and my wife was always very conscious about what they would eat, and I was not, so I became a bad influence to my own children, whereas I wasn't even allowed to eat at the table to sit down with them, because I'm the one eating the mac and cheese and the pizza and the French fries. And so there was one moment where I got fed up and I wanted to eat with everybody at the table instead of eating in private and hiding what I was eating. And my wife got fed up. She knew how to get under my skin. And my daughter was reaching to eat one of the French fries. She said, you know what, love? Because our daughter's name is Love. She said, don't eat that. You're going to get fat. And my daughter's 2.5 at the time. She's like, Mommy, what's fat? She showed her a video of obesity, and it showed obese people and what they look like, and then it talked about obesity killing. Obesity kills, the death.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter said, Daddy, you're fat. I don't want you to die. And it brought back all these moments. I remember my mother talking to me, when she saw me having a joyous moment with the kids, with my son and my daughter, my wife, and she says, Anthony, how much do you love your kids? And I said, oh my God, I've never felt this kind of love before. She says, I love you exactly like that. And I said, wow. And I was like, Mom, you really love me. Wow. It's like, when you put it like that. And she goes, but guess what, Anthony? Are you going to be alive to see them like I'm alive to see you enjoy? Are you going to be alive? Because look what you're doing to yourself. So everything that I was kind of like tucking away and just ignoring and letting roll off my shoulders, that all came to light at that moment when my little girl was just looking at me with tears in her eyes. And I said, I got to do something, man. That's it.
I see. So it happened, take me to that moment. Did it happen during the day? Was it at dinner time? Because I want to know what was going through your mind when you finally said, I'm going to walk into that gym and do day 1 of this video here.
Well, a couple of days before, I was at a hookah place having a cheeseburger and mozzarella sticks and French fries. And a buddy of mine introduced me to this trainer who was a barber entrepreneur. He had tried real estate before. Introduced me to him simply because the guy wanted real estate advice. He wanted to get back into real estate investing. But he happened to have a gig at the gym that I was a member of but never went to. And he was about to start. So that was like 3 days before this incident happened. So that incident happened at dinner time. The next morning, I decided to go to the gym and speak to that guy and tell him, look, here's the deal. Because he used to be obese, and I saw pictures of him. And then he has an incredible six-pack. And this is the guy that I talk about in the documentary that passed away.
Yeah.
And I said, if you can get me a six-pack like that, I'm going to help you become a millionaire in real estate. So it was like a trade. You know, I was giving information. And so the next day I went and we jived. You know, we gelled right away. You know, we really focused on the abs. We were doing HIIT training. I was mentoring him. He was mentoring me. And I really kind of dived deep into the world of fitness after that.
Well, that was pretty amazing that you started to do that. Now, in the beginning, when you first started, did you tell yourself, I am going to lose this weight? And did you already have your mission set in terms of what you wanted to do? You wanted to get on stages, or did that process kind of evolve as you were transforming?
I said, let me do what I would do in business. Let me treat this like I would a business venture, and
Right.
water the plant. You know what I mean? Like let me use common sense. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Right.
Just going to the gym, eating clean, you know, hitting the treadmill is not going to do it this go around. So I said, I'm going to put my business hat on and treat it like this is a business. What would I do if this was a business? I would research. I would hire the right people. I would, you know, leave no stone unturned. I would ask questions. I would, you know, question things. And that's exactly what I did. I said, I'm going to really seed this thing. You know, I'm going to really, really focus and give it the respect it deserves. You know, it reminded me of some of the people that used to work for me, where they would make $5,000 a day, some of my salespeople, on commission. And I remember one of my top salespeople who was making so much money, he would constantly move from apartment to apartment. He was upgrading all the time. And I noticed one time, I'm like, where are you going to be tomorrow? Because he's like, I'm not coming in tomorrow. I'm like, why not? He says, I got to move my furniture. I'm like, you could hire somebody, pay him $1,000 to move all your stuff. Why would you lose out on making $5,000? You know, so it's something common sense, you know. So what I said, I'm going to just dedicate myself and use my brain and really, really treat this as if it was some sort of a real estate or business venture and go that route. So I started filming myself because I said, I'm going to document this and I'm going to see this thing through the whole entire way. I'm going to see this whole thing through, and I'm going to be involved in the fitness industry one way or the other. I'm going to show an example of excellence, because all I kept watching was a lot of people trying to lose weight and then failing, trying and failing, trying and failing. Was taking their transformation all the way. And so what I did do was kind of like psychologically trick myself. You know, the man with no shoes felt bad for himself until he saw the man with no feet. So I saw people that were 500 pounds, 400 pounds, losing weight, doing exercise, getting up and down off the chair. And I said, man, if they could do it, what's my excuse, you know? So my Instagram feed started becoming filled with people trying to lose weight. And that became my world. That became my association.
That's beautiful. And what you've done with the documentary and what you're doing now since has been amazing. So can you talk to me now that you've got this transformation? We want to know, I'd love to know, what is your mission now? You know, I know you've partnered up with Radical Body Transformations. What is now your mission? Now, are you still doing the real estate? Has your focus changed? Tell me about your new mission in life and what career looks like for you now.
You know, I said it in the documentary, the price for success is how much life you want to give up. And for me, I gave up a lot of life for success. And right now, you know, I helped a lot of people financially, spiritually, emotionally. Right now, I want to help people physically. I want to save lives. I want to show people that they can truly transform. And so through Radical Body Transformations, my partner, James and Carlos, it was like a miracle that I met James, because, you know, he's just as passionate as I am about helping people and transforming lives. And just us teaming up and doing what we're doing, because we have a show on Amazon Prime as well. It's called Radical Body Transformations. And then we have a whole online fitness business where people get coaching, meal plans, workout plans. We have apps. We have a whole world for people. So, and we made it affordable. You know, that's the thing. You don't have to be a millionaire to actually lose weight and look incredible, because there's so many people on the bodybuilding side of things when I
Right.
was on stage, I think I was the only millionaire on stage. Everybody else were like 9 to 5ers. So it's like, it's not something that's out of this world. And I said, there's got to be a way to make it affordable for the everyday Joe. And that's what we created. So my mission and my passion in life now is to really help people. We get like 500 to 1,000 messages a day from people that are inspired, not only, men, but women, moms that just had 2, 3 kids, or a mom that just had a kid, or a military veteran with PTSD, and they've been out of shape. They remember when they were in incredible shape in the military, and now they were down and out. Some people tell me they were before they get up and go to the gym. So that was kind of our mission when we were making the documentary. And it's so interesting to see it come to light and meeting people from all over the world, such as yourself, and just making that impact.
No, I really love what you're doing because, as some of the people should know here, obesity is such a big problem, not only here in America. We lead the world. The world is obese because of the lifestyle problems that we've created and we've shown the world how to live. And unfortunately, that's tied to heart disease, that's tied to dementia, that's tied to strokes, that's tied to cancer, autoimmune problems. So all of that is tied together. And it's wreaking havoc on our healthcare system. So I'm really loving this approach because I think if people can get this, if people could understand that they are truly in control of their health and not to give it away to the doctors, not give it away to somebody like myself, that is key for people to be able to understand and know. So
There's
that's
no guarantees in life, not even in business, not even in relationships, nothing. But fitness is a guarantee. You have it all under your control. What you eat, the exercise that you do, the mindset, all that stuff you can totally control. And you'd be surprised how infectious you can control the environment around you just by being the example. The law of attraction, all of a sudden you start attracting fitness and healthy people into your life. You start getting rid of the smokers and the bad eaters and the drinkers, and you start associating with people. Like, instead of me having dinners, I meet people like, let's get a workout together, let's have a protein shake, that kind of thing. So it's so more healthy habits. You're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And I'm happy because I even got my wife involved in fitness now, and my kids and all that stuff. And here's my wife right here.
Hey, great to meet you.
Nice
Great.
to meet you too. I have a radar. When he says wife, I just appear.
There's actually a question that I just got. All right.
Oh, cool.
Tiffany would like to know, how is it that you get buy-in from your spouse, and how does she best support you? I mean, is it ever lonely? Does sometimes you feel like, he's really engaged in what he's doing, and could that cause any tension? How do you best support as a spouse for somebody who wants to make this transformation for themselves?
That's a great question. That is the question, because I feel like a lot of challenges definitely come in, and the best way that you're gonna support is if from the bottom of your heart you're on the same page about the end goal. And so we made our dream board photos, and I'm very all about dream boards. And we actually sat down. We made his, I chopped off his head and I put it on top of his dream body, which was also, it was good for me. So once we click on the same page about our goal, because I want a healthy daddy for my kids. I want a healthy husband. He always says, I was fatletic. And it's true. Throughout all of our dating life, I didn't really feel that he was obese. And when he started calling himself obese, I'm like, you're exaggerating, because, we're doing all kinds of water sports. Like, I knew that he had to lose some weight, but I never really thought of him as morbidly obese because he was very athletic. But, when we had children, I started looking at it differently. And, I wasn't anymore looking for the short run of it, for having fun together, but for the long haul of him walking our daughter down the aisle. And then, we also bumped into some cruel kid stuff, and how kids can make fun of like the other kids' parents. Oh, your mommy's fat or whatever. They say these things. So it's cruel in the kids' world. That's why actually I decided to homeschool. Even though he did end up losing the weight, so, to make his kids proud. But, it's just, you have to be on the same page about the end goal Yes, it did get lonely, especially when I was homeschooling my older child and my second child was born and he was barely sleeping. He's a very, we call him a spirited child. He's very spirited. He until today he wakes up, and at that time I was nursing both of them. So we also had a support team. We had his mom and my mom on board for the long haul again. So when there was days that I was just like, just stop. Like I wanted to text him, just enough. I need you to put somebody to sleep here. You know, when I was losing my mind here. Yes, the whole family's here. But you know, and again, I just go back, I look into the photo and I'm like, wait a minute, just zip it. It's just gonna be this time. And he, you know, especially when you see somebody taking that dream board so seriously, right? How can you want to demotivate him? He was no slacker. So for me, he made it easy for me to struggle alone or with his mom or with my mom, because I saw he was committed. He was not slacking. He was not wasting his time talking to friends and, you know, like taking a day off from working out, whatever. He was in 100%. So I was like, this will be even shorter. So let's just pass through the roughest times. And if we make it after this, we're just going to be the strongest couple, you know, in the world. So, and that's what happened. We became stronger than ever.
Wow. Goosebumps. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Goes to show, I mean, thank you for what you do, because I know it's not easy. You know, I know with my partner sometimes when I'm off doing things, she needs my attention. So it's great to be able to hear that. And
Yeah.
what you've done so much. This guy is on a mission. So thank you so much for helping him fulfill on this mission to make the world a healthier.
It was my mission too. I'm very health oriented, and he has the power, and you know, he has the power of taking it to the next level. So it was definitely like in sync. Everybody, our missions, and I inspire to you know, inspire parents in parenting journeys as well. So we both are set to like inspire people to be healthier, happier. What are you doing? Silly. That's love. Yes.
Thank you for being the #1 motivator for Daddy to take on the next level of his life. So thank you so much, love. You're doing so well. We got Adrian here. She just said, just watch your documentary, brought a tear to my eye, champ. Much love from the family in England. So thank you, Adrian. Let's start taking some questions now. I want to be respectful of your time, so I'll take some questions live here. And so many people sent me some questions there before. So let's just get right to it. All right, we have C who texted a little while ago. Do you have a goal of being a billionaire?
Honestly, it's all the same, you know, 100 millionaire, billionaire, it's all the same for me. You know, I turn down a lot of things now, you know, if it's not involved, you know, in what I'm involved in, if it doesn't involve family and health and wellness, it's not something I'm going to do.
Thank you, guys.
So for me, you know, if I can help more people, that'd be great. You know, I was involved with over 30 different charities and foundations through my success in the real estate business. And I plan now on doing that, continuing to do that now with the fitness world. And if more billions of dollars help me to give more away, that's great.
That's super. Bill wants to know, what is your current routine in terms of sleep, exercise, and working out? If you could just dial that down very short for us.
Yeah, so, you know, my plan was to compete 5 other times into 2020, but COVID kind of put the kibosh on that. So I never went through a proper bulking phase. You know, I had lost 125 pounds in 9 months and put on as much muscle as possible. That was impossible to begin with, but I did it. But, you know, after looking at my body, I didn't really have the kind of legs that I wanted, the back and the chest and shoulders. So, you know, when the pandemic happened, I talked to Mike and I said, what should we do? What do you think? You know, can I go on a bulk? He said, well, you know, you do have a show in August and you do have these shows. I said, I don't think they're going to go on. I'm looking at what's going on in the world. I'm just going to turn the basement into a gym, you know, and I got, you know, I put the pool table for sale, and right away people call, because that's no longer my life, lounging around and hanging out and playing pool. That's not what I do. So I sold a pool table to somebody who had a big home and was planning on lounging around during the pandemic. So I bought gym equipment and turned the basement into a gym. And I went on a proper bulk, increased the calories, started lifting heavy, and started really packing on muscle, working on my legs, doing the exercises that were challenging, working on my squat depth, and all the things that were very difficult to do when you're doing 3-a-days, you're doing HIIT, you're doing CrossFit, you're doing static cardio. You really can't, pack on that much muscle. So it was really joyous to be able to go through the full bodybuilder's experience of going through a cut and then going through a proper refeed and then going through a bulk. So I just started my cut last week, and my body is like a machine. I hadn't done a lick of cardio in 4 months, and I lost like 9 pounds in 4 days. And he said right away, he says, go eat a cheeseburger because you need to you're losing way too fast, and we need to kind of recalibrate. So did that, and I'm back on track, and I don't want to lose weight too fast. I don't want to lose too much muscle. So I managed to pack on muscle in the areas that I wanted. So my routine now, I'm really only doing 1-a-days. So I'm only bodybuilding for 1 hour, and it's all about rest and recovery now. When you're packing on muscle, it's about getting enough rest and recovery. So I train my wife a lot because she's going to be competing, and she went from being like 114 pounds with no abs, diastasis recti, pains in her back, to now being 127 pounds with a 6-pack abs popping out. I mean, who gains weight and puts on and gets abs coming out of their stomach? So I take a lot of joy and pride in training her. I'm training my secretary and a couple of personal friends, and we're really building an incredible business through radical body transformations on the back end. And there's so many people that are signing up every day and transforming. So we're filming our 3rd season of the show, so we're busy with that. But so my routine is once, and so I'm going to start incorporating the cardio once the weight loss stops based on the calories. I'm going to sprinkle in the cardio a little bit, static cardio, and then I'll slowly increase it into some HIIT as needed. So, there's 2 ways you can lose weight, right? A lot of cardio or caloric deficit. So, I'm still trying to build muscle at the same time. So I'm very careful with the calories that I kind of take away from the menu.
How much sleep are you getting every night?
I definitely get about 8 hours, sometimes I try to get 12. I was doing naps, it's hard to do with the kids, so, but I could sleep through anything. So, I try to, if I can catch a nap here and there, I'll do that. I'm really experimenting with my body on this next level transformation I'm doing. I was tasked to gain 35 pounds. For an obese person, that's scary to do. But I said, I beat obesity. I got this. So I actually struggled putting on the 35 pounds of bulk, not because it was just hard. I had completely changed my metabolism. It was very hard to keep the weight on, even without doing the cardio. So I'm a completely brand new person, And
Amazing.
so, I was supposed to go from 174 pounds to 210 pounds and then go back down. So I reached the 210. Then I went on the cutting diet. 4 days later, I was 201. We're like, whoa, you're losing weight too fast. So now I'm back up to 204, and we're slowly losing the weight. So the goal weight is probably to be like in the 180, 185 range. We're going to assess what I look like at that point and see if I need to cut up more.
Nice. Now, you mentioned you're a completely different person. So now I want to hit up the identity question. What was your identity like prior to this transformation? I mean, did you consider yourself, okay, I'm just the big guy for the rest of my life? And how has that shifted and morphed now? Now I feel a man with intensity. Now I feel a man with passion in terms of people wanting to help people with their health. Tell me about that identity shift, who you were before and who's this identity now?
I didn't realize I looked the way I did until 2 days before my competition. I remember that when I would do jump ropes, if I didn't do it I was running out of breath, even at, 180 pounds being ripped, until my trainer, Francisco, says, come over here. Let's do the jump ropes in front of the mirror. I really had body dysmorphia. It was psychological. So when I did it in front of the mirror, I said, okay, I'm this guy. I was jump roping for 15 minutes without, losing my breath. But out and not in front of the mirror, psychologically, I kept imagining myself as the obese guy. And it wasn't until 2 days before the competition, we did a exercise video shoot. I never took off my shirt in public. I took the shirt off in the gym. It was a really fancy gym. We did a bunch of videos and pictures and stuff. And when the camera guy, Keith, who actually did the documentary, he showed me the footage. He said, Anthony, I was doing like battle ropes and I saw like my six pack and muscles bulging. I said, man, that's me. I can't believe it. Like at that point is when I said, this guy is six pack Lolli. This is the guy. That's who I am now. I always knew that was inside of me. But
Yeah.
even as I was developing the body, I didn't believe it, you know, even
Yeah.
through the surgery, even through all of that stuff. I just didn't see it in the mirror. I just didn't see it. You know, I knew I was in shape. I just didn't see how incredible it was until I saw that footage.
How important is that identity when achieving your success? I mean, would you say that now that you see it more, everything's happening, everything's clicking together? Was there ever an imposter syndrome during this transformation as you were getting to be a little bit more ripped?
You know, I look at it like this. If I told you to put $1 in the bank account every day of the year, at the end of the year, you expect to have $365. So I knew I was putting in the work, and I knew that sort of some sort of a yield, you know. I just didn't know it was to that level of a yield, you know, and it took me to actually look at myself to say, wow, you know. But a lot of foresight, a lot of planning, a lot of belief, a lot of law of attraction, like my wife said, dream boarding, all the planning, really, you know, having a team meeting with your family and friends, you know, and you have to tell everybody, hey, I'm going on this venture. It's going to be a lot of pain. It's going to be a lot of struggle, but I'm going to embrace the pain. This is part of the process. This is what it's going to do. You know, a lot of people were like, what are you traveling with this nutritionist for? What do you need him for? Like rice and steak? Like, I'll make you rice and steak. People are always quick to criticize. One thing I can tell, the difference between the entrepreneur world and the fitness world, right? You probably get a lot of this too. As an entrepreneur, no one would dare ever interfere or give business advice if I'm having a conversation with somebody about business. I'm there, they know who I am, and that's it. Like, you know, they unless they're a bigger millionaire or a bigger successful person, they actually want to learn, right? In fitness, I'm in the gym with my buddies. I'm looking incredibly ripped. Somebody totally out of shape has to put their 2 cents in. No, don't eat that. Or you got to eat this. Or this is how you do that exercise. And I'm standing there because this is new to me. Nobody has ever, you know, it's the blind leading the blind. I'm so surprised at how much people that don't know what they're doing will turn around and interfere. And even till this day, you know, people will, like, I had a friend of mine come by and I'm eating, you know, they're like, you eat rice and chicken in the morning? Like, you're not supposed to. I'm like, when you lose 120 pounds in 9 months, then you can tell me how to eat this food. Like, you'd be surprised at how much people will kind of stifle you and want to give you the wrong advice. You know, they mean well, there's too much of it coming at you. So I can see how easily people can kind of fall off track.
Yeah.
Froze a little bit. Yeah.
Did you ever want to quit? What was the hardest part? Did you ever feel like quitting? What did you do to like not let that happen?
You know, I watched my wife give birth twice. So I was in the room. The first time she did it naturally in the hospital without any epidural or anything. The second time she did an underwater birth, you know, bathtub birth.
Yeah.
No painkillers, no nothing. I said, if she could take that kind of pain, and I saw it, man, because I remember looking at her when she's there and we're ready to go from the bed to the tub.
Yeah.
And we looked at each other. We said, you can't unring this bell. It's going to happen. You know what I mean? So when I saw her do that kind of stuff, I said, man, I can't chicken out of this thing. You know, even with the surgery, which is 7-hour surgery, I said my goodbyes to my family because you never know. Surgery is a surgery. Something like that. You don't know how you're going to react to anesthesia. You don't know how you're going to recover. Infections, anything could happen, you know. So it was scary, but I was all in. You know, I was going to do this no matter what, you know, and I was going to, you know, die trying if I had to, because, you know, I was going to die anyway, the direction I was going in.
Yeah. Really good. Somebody just asked, this is Martha, best advice for somebody who just wants to start.
The best advice for somebody who wants to start
Mhm.
is, first of all, pick the body that you want, whether it's a celebrity's body. Decide what you really want. Do you want to look good in a shirt? Do you want to look good on the beach without a shirt? Do you want to look good in a bikini? What is exactly your goal? And what we do at our company is we take that goal and we're realistic with you. We say, okay, this is what you want to look like. This is how many times a week you got to work out. This is the meals you got to eat. This is how long it's going to take. Because you can literally have any type of body you want. It doesn't matter how big or how skinny you are. You can have it. It's only a matter of time. That's it. A matter of time and a matter of discipline. And so we sprinkle in a lot of coaching and a lot of support and accountability, and we see you through to the final transformation, you know. So the advice is, really pick the body you want. And if you really want it, why do you want it? Why do you want it? Find your why. Why do you really want that body? What's going to better your life if you have that body? And also think about the things that can happen negative in your life while you're trying to get that body. You know, think about it. Some people may not have the most healthiest relationship. You know, one person's obese, the other person's obese. This one's trying to lose weight. This one's not. You know, all of a sudden you look incredible. Maybe this one here is like not supportive of that look, you know? So there's a lot going on. So you have to factor those things in. Are those things going to stifle you? So, you know, figure out what your schedule is. But we do all of that stuff when people join our system. So the answer is, go to rbtshow.com and we'll talk about it.
That's a perfect sort of segue into the last couple of questions. I know we're sort of running out of time. Thank you so much for what you've given so far.
No problem.
So this last question ties into RDT systems. You know, some people are saying, look, you know, you were a multimillionaire coming into this situation, you know, hiring the best coaches from everywhere, flying somebody from the UK over to be your nutritionist. How, as the average American being overweight, do I have the resources to get to the result that you got?
Well, you know, Steve Jobs spent millions of dollars making the iPhone, but we don't spend millions of dollars buying one. Right. You know, Elon Musk is spending, I don't know how much to make us fly out of space. We're not going to spend that much to fly out of space. You know, it's a good thing I'm an entrepreneur, because I created a very affordable system. In our system, we have packages as cheap as $47. If you don't have $47, forget about losing weight. I mean, there's a bigger problem there, you know? Right. So the reality is that, you know, I didn't hire The Rock to train me. I hired a local guy who just started to become a personal trainer. I joined CrossFit. I didn't know you needed to be a millionaire to join CrossFit. Good. I would have networked while I was there if I knew that, you know? I mean, I had a nutritionist. Sure, I flew him in, but I could wash my own car. I could do my own laundry. I could, you know, do my own dental work or my own taxes. We could play the he has money game on all levels, you know? Like, he has money, he has a car, he can drive to work. I have to take the subway, you know? So is all this kind of levels if you really want to do. I had money the 9 other times. Right. And I could show you over 100 celebrities that have more money than I do that are still obese. And I said it at the end of the documentary, you know, the obesity doesn't discriminate. It's the wealthiest and the poorest. You know, there's a billionaire, multiple billionaires that are obese, you know, and so it's really a matter of you wanting to do it. And, you know, when I studied bodybuilding, a lot of those people that I was on stage with, they all had coaches, nutritionists, and trainers. 9-to-5ers, moms, you know, in the transformation category, moms. You know, I'm not saying you have to have an incredible body in 9 months. I was looking to set records and really, you know, come into the industry with a splash, you know, but pace yourself. Maybe you take a year, maybe you take a year and a half, maybe you take 2 years, you know, but we do have programs for people that, hey, I really want to do this and I really want to do this fast. That can be possible. And I showed it is.
That's awesome. Thank you for investing in yourself and now being able to create a program that's affordable for everybody. So let me just have, first of all, amazing. 3,000 people have joined live for the podcast. That's amazing.
Thank
So
you.
how do people find out more about you, find out more about RDT? What are the websites, links?
They can go to rbtshow.com or radicalbodytransformations.com.
Mhm.
They can go to my Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Anthony Lolli, or just Google from Fat Lolli to Six Pack Lolli. I encourage them to watch the documentary if they haven't already. You know, it's really doing incredible things, and I'm getting to meet incredible people such as yourself. I want to thank you for allowing me on your platform and with your audience. It's amazing to meet new friends.
Well, thank you so much. This is the last question I'm going to ask. I mean, I'm going to release my book called Thrive State next year. What is your one secret to thrive?
My one secret to thrive is basically look at your life resume of wins and of losses and really think about what you're successful at, because a lot of it is really coaching yourself. You got to say to yourself, wait a minute, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this, I've done that. You know, a lot of people have doubt. They doubt themselves too much, you know? So you
Yeah.
got to kind of take back and look back and say, man, I've accomplished all this, you know, and you have to, I always say, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And from the outside looking in, you know, you've also attacked your health in a major way. You have an incredible physique, you know, and you're doing incredible things. So, and, you know, you have all this positive things going on in your life, family wise too. So anything you want to do, you can do. It all depends on how much and why you really need to do it. You know, you have this book coming out, which I know a lot about, with the book that we had, The Heart of the Deal. It was an international bestseller. It was in, you know, I'm going in the airport. It's in the airport bookstores. It's in Barnes and Noble. It's in South Africa. It's in Canada. It was like amazing to do that. So, you know, it was something in my head. I said, I want a book, but I just don't want a regular book. I want it to be a best-selling book, and I want it to be everywhere I go. So I made a whole thing where anywhere I went, I purposely went to a bookstore to see. And then I gave it away to all the libraries in the United States so people can read it for free. So I think you're going to have much success with your book because, you know, the way you reached out to me, you're a go-getter. You know, you're not shy. You're ambitious. And you're a conqueror, man. So this book's going to do well. As long as you want it to do well, it's going to do well, for sure.
Well, thank you, brother. Thank you so much for your time today. I know the audience is probably going to want more in the future. So, hey, reach out anytime. I thank you so, so much, not only for your time, but for your eye and for really making a change in the health space globally. Anthony, thank you again.
So much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.